A couple of days ago, a new student came to me with a problem some of you might face, the dreaded shanks. Now almost every shot she hit was either 45 degrees in this direction, or if it was hit out the face somewhere, it was incredibly high and weak. Now some of these issues were fairly extreme, as you might imagine, from such high weak shots and such regular shanks. But a couple of things we're going to look at today which might help you if you've got the same sort of issues. Now, one thing we looked at first of all was a hand placement wasn't great, but the more important stuff was how the hands and wrists were moving thereafter, and a couple of knock-on effects in a positive manner thereafter. So movement very much in the backswing was one where the club face rolled open, so it was pointing towards the sky at this early stage. The back of the logo in the glove was pointing upwards as well, matching the club face. And from there, the whole way back, the club head was on the left, as you look at it here, it was on the left-hand side of the shaft. Now in that position there, if you look where the sweet spot is, as it comes back down, it's hidden entirely from the golf ball by the hosel, which is exactly where she was striking the golf ball. And not only that, if she did hit the golf ball at all, the club face was incredibly high and towards the right, so even if it was well struck, it was just not powerful at all. Really, really short shots and incredibly high off the club face. So we did a couple of things. One, we said we looked at our grip placement, which in the left hand particularly wasn't great. And thereafter, we started looking at how the wrists moved during the swing. So trying to create a movement whereby it felt like the club face pointed towards the ground. Likewise, the back of the left hand pointed towards the ground, and that maintained as the swing moved up towards the backswing. Now you can see now the club face is more, as you look at it, is more on the right hand side of the club shaft there. So the sweet spot can actually see the golf ball from here. And from there, as we come down through impact, it's going to be a heck of a lot more powerful in here with the handle leading in slightly ahead of the golf ball. So a couple of things which maybe helped her with the picture a little bit. This club here with the stick in the club face, we could really see exactly where the club face points a bit more down towards the ground, towards the camera almost at this stage now, and then the left wrist also, again the back of the left hand pointing towards the camera, and at the top almost those two things pointing towards the sky. That's a little exaggerated, almost Dustin Johnson-like at the top, but that was the sort of feeling she got. The other thing which we used was a frisbee. Now if you imagine trying to throw a frisbee, instinctively if you did it with the left hand, you'd have the wrist in this sort of shape. Okay, now from there, if we go into a more golf situation here, that's the same sort of form as we tried to create at the top of the backswing. And then from there, as you release, eventually the wrist's going to go in the opposite shape. It'll have a little bit of this sort of cup shape, which is actually where originally the student was at the top in this shape compared to this one. So the other thing which was a nice little extra was we didn't even mention that the path the club was travelling on previously. The club from up this position with the cupped wrist, the club face almost on the left side of the shaft. From there the club very much led out this direction here and across to the left. Well, a nice little bonus was with improved wrist angles there, as she came back down, all of a sudden the path of the club changed and she actually hit the ball slightly from the inside. So instead of really high weak shots to the right or shanks, she was now hitting lower shots and actual slight little draws. So all those little knock-on effects just from working on the right wrist movements. So if you can create a better movement of the wrists after address, it should help both your ball striking and your distance and direction. Go and give it a shot, I think it'll help you.